Hey.
It's us again.
Yep.
Back at you with another video.
Yep. What you want to talk about today?
I would like to talk about how things happen.
They sure do.
Within expediting the industry, as far as loads go and sitting.
It happens. It definitely happens. A lot of people who are brand new to this industry, especially if they switched over from like a mega carrier and they're not used to what we go through out here. And so the first thing we're going to talk about is loads. A lot of people don't understand how we get our loads. And I'd like to say in general, you know, we don't have loads just lined up for us like a mega carrier would. Like once you drop your load off, they got another load for you. And then even before you drop that load off, they got another load for you or another trailer to pick up or whatever the case may be. It doesn't operate like this. The way that expediting works is years ago, somebody figured out that it was more cost effective to, instead of having a warehouse on site, they could take that warehouse and turn it into usable space for manufacturing and just simply get their freight or their materials that they need just in time. Wherein instead of paying somebody to maintain the building and paying people to work in the building and paying the utilities on the building, they figure why not make some money with the building. So a lot of our freight is typically just in time freight, emergency freight, or what we call in the industry white glove freight. So that's pretty much what just in time freight is, wherein a company, they'll get what little bit materials they need to keep their operation going for a week, and we'll typically bring it from the border, shoot it up to wherever it needs to go, and they're good to go. Emergency freight is typically when something gets screwed up along the process, wherein if company A sent company B materials and the materials were faulty, then company A now needs to send company B more material, and typically they'll expedite it. So in most cases, people wanted their freight yesterday, especially if it's, you know, just in time or emergency freight. And lastly, white glove freight, which is typically stuff that, you know, I really don't want to talk about, really can't talk about, but it's sensitive freight. So typically it's a dispatcher sitting in there looking at loads. They know where your truck is and they're looking for loads within a certain radius around your truck, and they're bidding on loads, and boom, if they get the load, they bill it, book it, and they send it to you as a load offer. You accept it or you don't. The other way that we get our loads is typically a customer will call in the customer service, and they'll say, I have freight that needs to go from point A to point B. Do you have a truck in the area? And boom, yes, we have a truck in the area. They negotiate, they work it out, they bill it, they book it, then they call you and give you the load. So there aren't loads just sitting around waiting for us. People typically utilize us on a as needed basis. And one of the best ways that I can picture it is we're Door Dashers, Uber Eaters or Uber Eatsers or whatever. We're sitting around waiting for a food order to come in, or in our case, freight. And boom, the order will come in, we'll accept it, we'll go pick it up, we'll go deliver it, and then wherever we are, boom, we're waiting for another load to pop over, or another DoorDash, so to speak. So that is how we get our loads. So understand that You're not just, they're not just hanging you out to dry. If there's no freight in the area, there's no freight in the area. Of course, there are certain places that you want to be where there's more freight coming out of. Places like Laredo, Detroit, Atlanta, Charlotte, anywhere, most major cities.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Most major cities you definitely want to be in. But that leads into lost loads. It happens. It's not your fault. It's not the carrier's fault. I really hate to say typically it's the customer's fault, because a lot of the times they will double book a truck. And they'll call one company and get a quote and they'll book it. And then they may call another company and they may get a lower quote and they book it and they forget to cancel the other one. So when you get there, somebody's already picked up the load. Load was double booked. It happens. Loads cancel for various reasons. You might get there and it doesn't fit. They miscalculated the measurements of the freight.
Or the box.
Or our cargo box, yeah. Whatever. There are many different reasons why loads cancel, and understand it's almost never your fault. Sitting. That is a part of what we do. Like I said, there aren't loads that are just sitting there waiting for us as soon as we drop off. Now, of course, we do get double booked on loads, even triple booked. But that's just all in how the dominoes fall for us in the area that we're in and the area that we're going to. So if there are loads that's on the load board that the dispatchers can bid on and they get them, boom. Yeah, we can wind up with 2 or 3 loads stacked on top of us. But for the most part, once we drop off a load, there's not a load waiting for us. So it becomes a waiting game, and that's when we get that downtime in to do stuff like wash clothes, take showers, go get our haircuts, and all of that kind of good stuff.
Or just to get out the truck, period. Get out, walk around, stretch your legs, get the blood flowing. Just anything. Just, walk around and enjoy the scenery of where you are, if there's anywhere to walk. Sometimes it's not.
Yep.
You don't want to go walking around in Wyoming because there's nothing there. So,
pretty much.
or it's cold or windy, high winds or anything like that. But it's just an opportunity to get out and just the other part of the job, just see your surroundings.
Yep.
And explore, especially if you've never been there before.
I wouldn't say a part of the job. I would say a perk of the job.
A perk. Okay, my bad.
Like where we are right now, we're sitting at the TA truck stop in Sparks, Nevada, and right across that way is a lake, is the daggone outlet, movie theater, and everything. So,
it's walking distance.
Right.
So you can get out and walk.
You're gonna see a video on that shortly, because I feel like walking. So okay. I think we should go over there and get something to eat.
Okay, we can do that.
But so yeah, that is a part of what we do. Now, how long you sit, it kind of depends on you. You can always call and say, hey, is this a good area for us to be in? Should we move somewhere? And they'll advise you accordingly. For me, sometimes if we've been running really, really hard and we get to somewhere where I know we're going to sit a couple of days, I don't even bother them. I let them let us sit. And we usually get a 34-hour reset out of it. And we also usually go exploring and we find something to do wherever it is we are. If there's something to do, because some places, like she said, it's just like the only thing that we can do is maybe get out the truck and fly out drones, or I'd race my radio control truck around the parking lot or something like that until it almost get ran over. But sitting is something that comes along with our job, and it's not done to you on purpose. It's not, somebody's not saying, ooh, they're there and we're gonna let them sit there. Trust me, there is somebody working to get you out of there, whether it's dispatch or fleet experience. They're trying to figure out what the best move is for you. If they can't find a load, should we just go ahead and empty move them over here? and they'll either call you and offer you an empty move, or you can call and ask for it. So do not get upset, bent out of shape because you get somewhere and there's no freight, even though the board might be kind of hot. Some boards are hit or miss. They're estimates. You know, one of the things that we learned is that El Paso is not a very good area for freight for us in Panther, when everywhere else we never sat in El Paso. Never. We wouldn't even take our shoes off when we got to El Paso. But it's not the best place for freight. So if we go there, you know, we already got a plan of action ready to pretty much get them to move us straight to Laredo from there. So again, don't get upset if you get somewhere and you sit a day. It'll happen. If you sit 2 days, then yeah, that's when you start getting a little antsy. If you sit 3 days,
now you're angry.
But you shouldn't have to sit that long unless you choose to. Like at this point, we chose to sit here in Reno, given the fact that we just came off of the ordeal with my dad. I was just off for a whole month. This run from Ohio to Fernley, Nevada, it kicked me in the keister. Did I say keister?
Yeah, you did.
But you know, it wore me out because we didn't do our shift. We just drove it, and then we wound up having to stop because of the road was closed because of how it yeah. But we got here, we dropped off, and we pretty much knew we were going to sit for the weekend. So I wasn't hell bent on having them move us anywhere. Let's just sit here and chill, get our bearings, get ourselves together, because this is actually that was my first load back in the truck, and boom. So
in which it gave us an opportunity to pretty much all the stuff that we had to bring back into the truck from being off
I
that
had
time.
to move back into the truck literally.
Right. So that just gave us time to, you know, put things away, get things straight, get things back the way that they were, so we can move freely, like, you know, how we supposed to, how we used to, and things like that. So for us, it's not a bad thing because we know what to do with our downtime or our wait time. For other people, for new people, it's probably not the same feeling. Like I said, we've been doing this 15, 16 years, so we know how it go. For any new drivers, it's probably not the same feeling because they new and they not sure of what to do or how to feel about sitting. So they get antsy about it, you know.
And they be up in arms too. When I dropped this load off yesterday, and here it is 3 hours later, and I don't have another load yet.
Right.
And yeah, it's like that. And you know, we try our best to let people know. Our teams as mentors, we let them know, hey, put your feet up for a couple of hours. Yeah. You know, one of the easiest ways to get yourself a load is to go and do something.
Mm-hmm. Make a plan.
Make a plan.
I dare you.
And I promise you, go put a load of clothes in the washer. I guarantee you, your phone will go right off, and the joint just start spinning, and your clothes are soaking wet, and you will get a load off. But again, things happen within our industry. Typically, they're completely out of our control. Our carrier is working diligently to get us a new load or get us relocated. They haven't forgotten about us. They know exactly where we are. So don't get upset if you don't get a load right away. Don't get upset if a load cancels. Don't get upset if you sit for a day waiting for a load. It is going to happen. So in saying that, we hope you have a little bit better understanding of how we get our loads and things to expect within this industry. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and we will for sure answer them as we can.
Peace.